All right.
We're
So,
there. The big show is here.
It's here.
Mike has takes.
I'm tired. It's December 21st. It's match week 14 is in the books. I'm tired. I'll tell you why, Laurent. I've had a week where Tottenham Hotspur went from first place at the beginning of the week. Now they're in sixth. And it's been a great season. It's been a really, really tight season, but that's not the reason necessarily tired. Let me be clear. It wasn't a great week, but I'm tired because there's just so much all the time in this English media shitstorm that we get swept up in as fans of the Premier League. And it's not just the English media, it's everywhere, I suppose. But what I started to think about is why is this such everything every weekend, right? You've got Liverpool, who are now world beaters once again, and nothing can stand in their way. And you've got Tottenham, again, 7 days ago, who were top of the table. Now they're for shit. They might as well get relegated. They're worthless. They're nothing. Jose Mourinho says the best team lost. He doesn't know anything. Weeks ago, he was the smartest man in the world. What I'm just tired of is the polarizing opinions. There's no actual talk about what's been going on. Have Spurs actually played well in the last 2 games and just kind of been unlucky and lost? Have they gotten their doors blown off? Give me some cool analysis here. Don't just yell at me like it's a Sun headline, right? I'm just exhausted of the whole thing. I started to think about, well, why is it like this?
Yeah, because it's easy.
Well, it's easy, of course. But the main thing in America, if the Yankees lose, I will go turn on the Giants game. If the Giants lose, I will go turn on the New York Rangers game. If the Rangers lose, well, then I'm going to drink a half a bottle of bourbon. But the point is that I have other alternatives, other interests, and other activities to pay attention to. In England, this is the big show. Like you said, this is it. This is all they got. This is all they have to look forward to all week. And when they get disappointed, they want to kill themselves. And when they get what they've been striving and craving for, they feel like they've conquered a mountain. So I do understand it thematically. I'm just unsubscribing from like the big headlines. I can't, like I said, we're not even halfway through the season and I'm exhausted. I just stop, everybody. I felt this way last year too. And it was funny how when the break happened, I actually welcomed it. I was like, now this was after a long, shitty version of Spurs where they had to deal with a ton of injuries. That was actually right after the City game with the Bergwijn goal. That was the only bright spot we had since Mourinho got hired, basically, in November. So
the United win was big.
No, that was this season. I meant last year.
No, last year they had a United win, a big one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or was it the other way around? Or did United beat Spurs? I can't remember.
No, they beat us.
Okay,
they beat us.
That was
and then
they
beat
game.
us after the restart.
Right. That was the Ole saving.
But I was
one of the 7 Ole saving games.
Exactly. It was just. I find myself, or I remember specifically last year, waking up and watching the games, watching the matches because I love Spurs and all that. But I couldn't find myself in the way to watch any other teams. Right. If we were doing this podcast last season, I would know fuck all about West Brom, Aston Villa, or Chelsea, West Ham, or anything because I just couldn't do it because I was just exhausted and tired. And this is before the last 10 months of COVID shit. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So now I think that's, I was saying to one guy this afternoon, and it was actually about a baseball headline, but it rings true about politics and about all sports where I'm just, somebody might be doing something over here. DJ LeMahieu might sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. No, he's not. They're negotiating through the media. This is what they do all the fucking time.
Well,
right?
here's
Tell
the other
me
thing.
when
Mike,
something's actually going to happen.
I have something for you that could be interesting.
Please.
Are you getting old?
Yeah.
This is what I'm fighting. I'm like, this is the same shit over and over again. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this shit. I need like a new sporting already. Like I got excited with soccer 10 years ago. I'm like, oh fuck, they're doing the same shit.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not here to belittle Liverpool scoring 7-0 on Palace, but they're world beaters.
Yeah.
And it's always, if Liverpool does something good, let's shine rainbows up their asshole.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. It's awful.
United
It's really
do something poorly, the ship is on fire.
Yeah.
And so much so that Spurs can beat United 6-1, and we're going to talk about United. Why is that? What's going on there?
Well, listen,
It's
you don't have
the
to tell me.
same thing.
My team never gets any plaudits for anything.
Right. We're right, exactly. So it's the same things about the same teams always.
Yeah.
Right? It's either
Crisis.
Arsenal, right? Arsenal, right. It's
Crisis.
either crisis or your Kings.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's a lot of middle ground.
Yeah, yeah. So, but let's kick it off. Let's just, go to the champions, and they're back, right? So Liverpool are back. They put 7 on Palace, and it was really like they're fucking clinical. They've got the 3 up front. They scored 5 of those 3. They get a chip in from Minamino, and it doesn't change, right? They go again. They're just there, right? They're really no different than they were. I think that Aston Villa game gave a really crazy narrative for them. That 7-2 really spooked people. But let's remember, I watched the highlights of that game the other day. 2 goals came in, were legit, but, Aston Villa scored 3 deflected goals. So,
right.
And,
and
that was a little
to the
bit
point late in that game where they were like, well, we don't really give a shit what happens.
Yeah, and it was kind of laughable. It was just like they were fucking around. And it was a high line, and there have been times when Liverpool have given up goals to a high line, and they have a draw versus Everton, and they have some draws. But in terms of they're top of the league in scoring, they're second in defense, their expected goals is better than there were last year. Because remember, last year they took their foot off the gas, but they're still the best team, even without Van Dijk, because apparently Fabinho's fucking incredible, and they Joel Matip gets it done, and they have young guys. And they go again. Listen, Klopp's fantastic. I'm willing to take it on the chin, and I'm really disappointed in Guardiola, but they are there, and it looks like it's going to be them again unless someone out of our pack here of Leicester, Man United, Everton, Chelsea, Tottenham, all the way down, come up. It looks like after the narrative flipping game this week, it looks like United might be that team. They put a 6 down against Leeds at home, only their second win at home, which, of course, if you watch, did you watch it at all?
I saw the highlights. Yeah, it was fun.
It was ridiculous. It was just Leeds getting cut open, Leeds doing their Leeds thing, Bamford missing chances, and United looked good. I mean, it was beautiful stuff.
Hey, spare thought for Scott McTominay, huh? 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. Good for him.
All-time record.
Good for him.
Quickest 2 goals in history, either of United or ever of the Premier League, which means recently.
I was gonna say it is actually almost a better record to have it for United than the last 30 years of the Premier League, right?
But I like McTominay. United fans get killed, but here's the thing: it can't be Ole out, right? He beat Bielsa. His super fast, super talented team were able to beat man-to-man coverage everywhere. Because that's how Leeds play. But Leeds were still fun. They still scored 2 goals. I think if you go by expected goals, this was like a 5-3 match, and it was the highest expected goals that United ever got to. They could have scored 10. I mean, it was bonkers. So, fun game for United, but the United flips. I don't think we can go Ole out. I'll eat crow. I still don't think they have another way to play, but maybe they don't have to play another way.
Right.
Still worried.
And that's kind of going back to that narrative. I understand it's Manchester United. I understand they have astronomical expectations.
Yeah.
But he has been doing quite a good job. Yes, they crashed out of Europe, or Champions League at least, I should say.
Yeah, they fucked that up.
Yeah, they did. But they have the best form in the Premier League since January of anybody, including Liverpool.
Yeah, they're fucking good. Yeah, but Liverpool won.
They're here. Already. No, I understand, but they're here, right? We're talking about a full calendar year, 365 days span. Believe me, this is in the fake trophy case for Tottenham too. At some points too, for the last calendar year, United has been as good or better than anybody. So
the thing is they've got a loss to Palace at home. They've got a loss to Tottenham at home, where they got the doors blown off them. They lost to Arsenal, and they lost to Besiktas. I mean, these are unforgivable losses in some sense. Not the Spurs loss, but Palace and Tottenham. And now the Arsenal loss now looks unforgivable. But they were even awful in that game. Like, Arsenal legitimately won that game. The PSG loss, they just got beat. And Leipzig, they have the XG. They were ahead in XG and probably shouldn't have lost that game. But, if you go by like XG you were supposed to win, that's kind of like a measure of, did you actually win? Did you fuck up? So they just, that's what they thought. And now that 0-0 that City got versus United looks really good now. I'm like, hey.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And there's another story or narrative, if you will, about Bruno Fernandes, right? All he does is dive in the box, draw up penalties. You said numerous times where United and Liverpool, frankly, are the teams that just get that bounce or that call at the end of the game fucking always.
Yeah.
Yes, true. But also, Bruno Fernandes is the best player in the league right now.
He is.
By a comfortable margin.
He is. And I just pulled up his stats. Are you ready? Are you ready for his stats? And I didn't really know how good he was. But 2018-19 at age 23, I don't care if it's Sporting and it's the Premier League. You put down a 20 and 13, 20 goals, 13 assists, that's not fucking around. Then in one half at Sporting, he has 8 and 7. Then in another half in the Premier League, he has 8 and 7. So that's a 16 and 14 followed by a 20 and 13. Listen. And now he's on a 9 and 5 in half a season. So he's on track. He's been doing
9 and 5.
He's going to do another 16 and 15 season. That's not
I was
fucking
say,
around.
9 and 5. Yeah. They've only played 13 games. He's above a goal contribution per game.
Yeah, he's at 1.13 games. He's at 1.12 goals plus assists per game. That range, 1.12 over a season, is messy.
Yep.
Right?
I think the other players right now in the league who are like that are probably Son, Kane, and I would imagine Salah.
Yeah, they're all
that's it.
They're up there. They're all that.
Calvert-Lewin's off.
Now, but
that's probably the list.
The thing is that it feels like I think that we'll move off this game, but he's so good and it's so important, but it feels like they're living off his moments. And then that's really the criticism, right? And maybe that's fine. Maybe just letting your best players be great is enough. Maybe. But I think it's enough, sort of. But I think to be a great team and win the league, you need a little bit more, right? Like, if he goes down, they're done.
I would agree with that. But I think also we've been saying that they are a win band for a while, and they're starting to get the supporting cast. Rashford is starting to come back to life.
I mean,
Martial had himself a hell of a game.
They're really
right?
good.
So the supporting cast is there. And again, if Pogba stops having, temper tantrums and he plays the way he's capable of, like that first touch screamer into the top corner a few weeks ago, legitimate threat pretty much everywhere on from the midfield line on. So he certainly is surrounded by more than enough talent. And it comes back to, if your aspiration to win the league and to compete with the Liverpools and the Cities and the Tottenhams of the world, then you need to have not just strength at the front, strength at the back, and strength on the touchline, which is obviously one of the things we've harped on for a while. Ole, maybe he shouldn't get fired, but he's probably not a Klopp. He's probably not a Mourinho. He's probably not a Pep. And you know what? That's probably true. I think in our season
I think he'd be fine if he finishes his top forward. He's fine, and if he finishes second, he'd be gold, right? Like, I don't think anyone thinks they're better than Liverpool.
Right.
So,
well, hold on. So I think you said something that I want to parlay into another game. I think this is the good time to talk about Spurs and Leicester, because what you said, and again, this was a great performance. A number of opportunities in the first half, they missed them. They just didn't take their chances, and they go into halftime down one on an incredibly stupid penalty. But what I noticed specifically relative to how you were saying, if Bruno Fernandes goes down, United are fucked. Well, yeah, same thing has been said about Kane time and time again, and been proven true for the most part, except for the Champions League run, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not even going down. He on Sunday reminded me of when De Bruyne is just erased from a game, right? and City are like, well, now what the fuck do I do? It's become such a crutch on Harry Kane playing basically 1.5 to 2 positions that Yuri Tielemans just followed him everywhere and sat on him for 90 minutes.
Indeedy's the big one. He guy's fucking awesome.
Indeedy, but I noticed Tielemans more, but Indeedy probably is doing a lot more.
Yeah, he does.
Him.
He does. He's like a Conte type.
Yeah. Yes, of course. But Tielemans was kicking the shit out of Kane, and
well, they were tracking him.
And
right?
I know, and honestly, he couldn't get on the ball.
No,
was that?
Yeah, he couldn't get on the ball. That was the plan.
He couldn't get on the ball, and then everything sort of crumbled around Spurs because they couldn't let him be that facilitator.
Now, was Ndombele playing? Was he in the game, or did he come off?
No.
It was Lo Celso.
Sorry, yeah, he started with Lo Celso and came off, I believe, at halftime.
Whoa! Why?
We have the technology.
Why?
Well, I mean, everybody's been clamoring for Ndombele to start with Lo Celso, right? And he came off. I forget when, but
well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what I noticed. I noticed both Lo Celso and Ndombele coming off, and I was like, well, who's going to create anything?
Well, that's exactly it, right? So, yeah, they brought off Ndombele at halftime for Bale. That's right.
I thought Bale started.
No, he didn't. He came on at halftime. So
yeah, he's not been doing much.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, the dream didn't happen.
Bit of a wake up call. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he had the game winning goal against I don't fucking know.
It's one of those Europa League games.
No. It was a Premier League game. He came on and scored almost right away. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't been anywhere close to the standard we were expecting. And the thing that everybody boasted about Spurs when the transfer window shut was
they had
the
a
depth,
good transfer window.
Right?
Yeah.
They had a great transfer window, but the depth that was created as a function of that transfer window. And you've got Son and Kane, but you've got Dele Alli, you've got Ndombele and Lo Celso, you've got all these players Carlos Vinicius, right? So like you've got numerous attacking threats. Well, Dele Alli's been banished for some fucking reason. You're not dealing with any legitimate injuries right now.
I think it's his mustache is really the issue with Dele.
Yeah, I believe that. But but you're not dealing with any legitimate problems and injuries aside from Bale being soft as puppy shit, I suppose. But
he's something.
But you're not. Where was the depth over the last week? Right.
Yeah, but. The thing is, they played the way they play. They didn't get the bounces. Right. Aurier did something stupid. Fucking shoulder checked him. Right. He did an Aurier thing. Mm-hmm. And then, Alderweireld was in the way of the ball from Albrighton to Vardy was amazing. And
it was James Justin.
Was it? No, it was Albrighton. I'm almost positive.
Oh, that one, right. I'm sorry. The goal that was disallowed, which, by the way, was even a nicer ball, was
the Justin. Madison one? Yeah, that was good.
To Madison. Wow. And you know what? I felt that the penalty was a foul, but the way that was called by the referee, I was confused.
It was a penalty. It was stupid.
No, it was a foul.
It didn't even matter. It was stupid. Why did you? He was going nowhere.
Totally agree. What I'm saying simply is the referee's 10 yards away. He looks right at it and goes, "That's not a foul." And then he decides through VAR, oh wait, it was on the other side of the penalty line. So not only is it a foul, it's a goal, 1-0 Foxes. And I'm like, it's a stupid way to implement a stupid rule, right? Because it's not a goal scoring chance.
Yeah.
Right. It's on the edge of the area. I'm just lamenting Sergio Aurier being a fucking idiot, but
yeah, the whole notion of penalties in that giant box where you can't score from that place. I know they made that box in 1880. It's fucking stupid.
It's really dumb.
But that's not important. It should be round.
Yeah.
But maybe it's too hard to make because then you have to have a fucking string and a post. You got to make a round. Oh, it's a disaster.
So looking back since Thanksgiving, though, right? Yeah. Starting with the Man City game, you had this stretch of 7 games in the league. Okay, forgetting that they had Europa League games in between for a fair amount as well. Man City at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Palace away, Liverpool away, Leicester City at home, Wolves away. That's 7 games.
Amazing
21
stuff.
points. That is a bullshit stretch of games. And I want to fist fuck the FA for giving us that during the festive period. But the 7 games there, 21 points on offer. How many – if I told you if we were doing the preview show for the Man City game, and I said, I don't know, I want 12 points out of that 21. Is that too
would have
much?
been great.
Is that too many?
No, that would have been awesome.
Well, we're on 10 right now, or 8.
Yeah.
We're on 8 right now, right?
Yeah.
So you beat Wolves away, who looked like shit today, and we'll get into that in a second. That's 11. Can you really be that mad about that? Right?
No,
it started so hot. It started so well. And the only thing you can really complain about, Liverpool got away from you, fine. Leicester City just beat you. You're
it's
probably tired.
Palace. It's Palace.
It is Palace. And the funny thing is, we just talked about Liverpool.
Like, it would have been
fine.
It would have been fine. First of all, you should have beat Palace. That can't happen. And then Liverpool was you could have, that's the problem is the Palace game, right? You had that game. It was just like, what the fuck?
The problem is the Palace game, because you can lose to Liverpool and you can lose to Leicester, but if you get that one, because you're sitting on 10 points out of that possible 18, 13 out of 21. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Anyway.
But the funny thing is, Liverpool just put up 7 on Palace. I don't know if you watched that game against Spurs on the 13th.
Spurs could have put up set 5 against Palace.
Yes, but Palace were world beaters that day for Palace.
Yeah.
Right? They were really fucking good. I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually a Palace fan. And he's like, no, that was the best game I've seen them play in 3 years. And I was like, well, John, what did you think about Sunday? He's like, that was rough.
Plus, the finishing by Liverpool was so good.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
But even still, it's a 3-0 game.
And, and speaking of finishing, there's 2 teams we can just bundle together. I feel like Arsenal and City have the same problem. Except my team's better. No. In the way that they play is this dark, dour sadness. Brooding. Like, they have the same manager. They're playing the same way. City, thank God, have better players. But I think that there's the air, I feel like, is the same with City as it is for Arsenal. It's really bizarre. This dark, we play a certain way. It doesn't really work. These managers that are animated and yelling, and there's got to be, to me, I think of City and Arsenal now. City are much better. Our narrative is like, we're this new team. We're a defensive team. That we just are. That's just the way it's going to be. But where's the joy? Where's the fun? Like, who's having fun? No one. I'm not having fun watching them. They're not having fun. Like, they're all pissed off and angry. And you can see the same thing with Arsenal. They're not having fun at all, right? Something in that super intense, Cruyffian, Barcelona, Pep, Arteta, Spanish, the ball has to, the yelling, the whole thing has squeezed the joy out of their play. Now, Arsenal aren't getting results. City are getting results, but like, we beat Southampton 1-0, another clean sheet. That's 8 out of 9 games, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 goals one of them was a deflected goal. So, like, City, aside from the Spurs game, they're not giving up anything. But it's dour and dark, and the stadium the air feels heavy. Everything is just dour. And I feel the same way with Everton, the Everton-Arsenal game. Arsenal were just in complete darkness. They gave up the own goal to Holding, and they just dropped. They're like, oh, my God, we're fucking doomed. There's no Aubameyang. There's no Lacazette. He's playing the kids. It's just not there. There's no joy in Mudville. And I think it's got to be one of these things where I feel like both City and Arsenal need to do this. Pep or Arteta need to go, just go play. If you give up goal, I don't care. Go have fun. Enjoy. Like, I got to think, when you have problems finishing, right, your team, it's got to be like erectile dysfunction. You start worrying about it beforehand, right? You start going, oh my God, this has to work this time. I mean, this is married life. This has to work this time. I got to get this thing. I got to get it up. I got to get it done. I can't stay here for 3 hours. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the goal. I'm like, what's going to happen? I can't score anything. It's the same. That's how they are in front of goal. They're like a guy who can't come or get it up. It's like Whiskey Dick in front of goal. It's awful. And you're so worried. The game starts and you're nervous. It's like when you turn the lights off, you're like, don't turn the lights off. Everything's fine. I'm going to go watch. I got to go do something. That's how they play. They play like someone with erectile dysfunction. That's what I'm sticking with.
They should pay somebody to come in and score goals for them.
They need a cuck. Yes, they have a cuck problem. Where is the fucking football Viagra?
Oh.
Where is the football Cialis? I don't want the Viagra. Should be someone coming off the bench, right? They have a half hour to go. They'll get it going. But I need the Cialis. I need it beforehand. I need to know beforehand. Let's go. Football Cialis. That's my best work.
I don't know why you'd go anywhere else for football analysis, folks. You got metaphors like that waiting right here for you on the Squeaky Bum Time podcast.
I don't even know where to go after that, but it's definitely not the show.
Let me just, I'm not going to. Let me just real quick. Man City and Arsenal are not the same thing. Are they? Okay. Arsenal has 400 problems. City has 1. So one of Arsenal's 400 problems is similar to City's. But it's not the same.
Yes.
Man City's dick works, okay? And it works very well, okay?
No, it doesn't. It used to work. No.
It's just the caliber of partner that we're going to be everybody friendly, okay? The caliber of partner they seem to be attracting these days might be just a slightly bit lower echelon, okay?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whereas they were getting absolute 10s. They were walking into the bar and out there pick of the litter. Right?
Yeah. They had a scarf on, and they had like chiffon scarf.
Maybe this is the theme of today's episode. They're getting a bit old. Right?
Yes, I would agree. Yeah. They lost some of their strong swimmers. I'll tell you that.
That's right. They just, they don't kick on the same way they used to.
No. They're post honeymoon, man. They've been at it. They've been dating for a while with Pep, and now it's just kind of like routine. It's like, you wanna? No, not really. That's where they are.
Yeah.
Sad.
But nonetheless, a good result against Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton were really, really
good.
Off
the board.
Yeah. No, I know. John Stones and Diaz and Walker and Cancelo.
The Danny Ings injury didn't help, and I hope
it really shut. The second half really shut down. But this is how City play now. Like City fans we will change our mentality, but I think the punditry is like 14 years behind. They're like, they score goals. They're good. Like, we're still favorites to win the league. Like, who thinks this? I'm like, there's no way. Maybe we might, Ederson may win the Golden Glove. Like, we're not going to give up any goals. But yeah, City are not winning this league. It's just not going to happen.
You know what I was really happy to see?
Aston
Villa beating the shit out of West Brom. Because I'm mad at West Brom for 2 reasons. I actually, even going back to his West Ham days, I liked Slaven Bilic.
Yeah, he's cool.
He just seemed like, listen, he's a coach at one of these, call them mid-majors, mid-table teams that just tries shit.
Yeah.
Right. He just goes for it, and he plays attractive attacking football. He brought in a lot of attacking talent when he was there to try and supplement
the Payet season, man. He got Payet on side.
He got Payet, right? He got the absolute best out of Payet, and he was sacked from there. When he was at West Brom, I was like, cool, great. This will be fun. This will be a fun promoted team. Not the West Brom from years before, where it's just like
not Tony Pulis.
Yeah, not the Tony Pulis West Broms. But now they get fired. He gets fired after a great result at the Etihad. And you bring in Big Sam, who everybody appreciates him for what he is. But in a season where everything's been negative football, we talked about it last week. You bringing in another negative football manager. You don't need more of it. So I mean, give me all the Aston Villa games. Give me every single fucking one of them.
It's so good.
Oh, they're great. They're great.
Good. Dude, I even reached out to Mo from Arsenal Fan TV and asked him a question about Emi Martinez, because the dude is leading the league in clean sheets.
Mm-hmm.
The secret thing about Aston Villa is their defense is good and Martinez is good, and I think that makes a difference. And Grealish is just man of the match week after week. He's the best. He's the best player not playing for Liverpool, City, Manchester United. We talked very briefly about Fernandez. He's just the best player not named Fernandez. He's fucking incredible and fun and does weird stuff and is on his own. I mean, he does what he wants. Like, if someone I'm sure like Graham Souness who complained he doesn't track back, but I don't care if he doesn't track back.
Yeah. I think that's a fair thing to say. Like, oh, he's absolutely the best of the rest, if you will, right? Like,
the thing is, like, I was kidding around with a friend. I was like, is Aston Villa better than Arsenal by a lot? Yes. Like, way better.
Yeah.
Player for player, they're better.
Oh, well, absolutely. But I mean, and it goes back to the belief too. Like the sum of the parts it's exponential.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Like,
so much better. There's a lot that's weird. It's so weird. I was like, well, maybe they should stop playing well and Dean Smith will go to Arsenal. I'm like, well, why would he? He should stay at Villa. They probably have more money. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Not like possible. The Cronkies are doing well. They're panic death. I know you want to talk Burnley Wolves. Tell me what you feel.
Sad. Wolves without Raul Jimenez. They're not
great.
Listen, let me be clear. Fabio Silva is a good young player. He had a goal today. He has not put in good performances, though. I've watched him very closely.
No, he has not.
But I'm not going to be critical of the kid. I think he's 18 years old.
Yeah.
Let's everybody pump our brakes. He's going to be a good player in this league.
Yeah.
And it's good that he's getting these reps now, but my goodness. It was good to see him get on the score sheet today, but yeah, I mean, that's the story right there. As I knew Podence and Neto were awesome and fun to watch.
Yeah.
While Raul Jimenez was on the field, it only confirmed those beliefs when he was hurt in that their performances, especially against Chelsea last week. But man, it's just they're missing another gear. And Burnley looked aggressive, right? Like they took the game.
Super duper muscular.
Well, here's the thing. It's almost like this is their superpower, right? A home game in December at night in the rain. You're not getting 3 points.
No.
No fucking chance.
Gonna be the most uncomfortable game you play, and if you're down, we will kick you. Right. I listen. I like the crap football. I really do. I like the shithousery. I like Burnley being in the league. As much as I want them to go down, I kind of like Dyche complaining about not having money. Hey, go to another team. Someone would hire you, okay?
Yeah,
fine.
Absolutely.
So I kind of like that. I enjoy Burnley when they win, but then when I have to play them, I'm like, oh, can they just not be here anymore?
Yeah.
Now the big battle though is really they're right behind Arsenal.
I know. So that's the thing is that
they are on 13 and Arsenal on 14. I just was looking at this.
Wait, but you missed it. They're on 13 with a game in hand.
No. Yeah, they are. Here's the thing that's crazy. Arsenal have 8 losses. 8 losses. You know who has more than them? West Brom and Sheffield, who are 19th and 20th. 8 losses is insane. They're going to have like a 14-loss season. Yeah. That would be only 6 more losses for the season. That's crazy.
Yeah, if they slowed down their pace, like at the 14 losses.
Like last year, they were getting draws. Now they're just losing.
Yeah, I think the fun part for me was watching the Tide the relegation 3 and saying Burnley started the day in 18th, right? Now they're in 16th. They're a point behind Arsenal, but the point is that now Arsenal are only 4 points off of Fulham for 18th.
Yeah, it's gonna.
This relegation fight is real.
Fulham has 6 points in their last 5. If they play that way, they're not going down.
No, they're trending up. So that spot is open for realistically. I mean, I don't want to close the shutters on West Brom yet, only because Big Sam is a professional relegation escape artist.
Yeah,
shithouser, right? But even if you do, right, then you've got one spot for Arsenal, Burnley, Brighton, your boys.
Sheffield's gone. Sheffield's cut loose. They're done.
They're gone.
Unless something miraculous happens.
So realistically, you've got 2 spots for 5 teams.
Yeah. And it looks like West Brom's in bad shape, but it's only a game. They win 3 in a row, and they could be right back in it. Well, they have to, start getting more, he'll make them tough to beat. I think the fear for me now, I'm starting to get worried about Brighton. I'm starting to be optimistic about Fulham, which sucks because I don't want them here because I felt like Scott Parker sucked. And now I'm starting.
But they play. They play the game.
Yeah, they do play. I am starting to get worried about Leeds. they've got like some serious crooked numbers. Look,
Yeah.
scored 24, given up 30. Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Let's pump the brakes on the fucking loony bin. Like to have their games be involved at 54 goals. That's more than Liverpool. They've had more goals events. So, they're a little bit nutty, but it's super fun. I feel like, if I can get if my team can get its balance right and City can kick on. I think one of the things that I wanted to say where you were talking about narrative, because I think, that we've got what other game. I mean, we could very quickly touch on Brighton Sheffield.
Oh, go with your thing.
Sheffield had that game and Brighton, whatever. Brighton.
Oh yeah, that's true, dude. Wait, real quick. That's happened to Sheffield like 4 times. Those poor guys.
They've had wins that they've not won. But they had a man sent off at the 40th minute. Brighton's got to score more goals. Like they did the same thing they've been doing. I'm losing faith in my precious Brighton, and Graham Potter's going to end up getting fired by some stupid manager. But that's a well-run team. They're like an Oakland A's. They have got a money ball kind of team, the way that Norwich do. So my thought that I had about the narrative thing is I forgot. God damn it. I started talking about goddamn Sheffield and I forgot. Look.
Your thought just got relegated.
It did. My thought got relegated, and I have it'll come back to me like when we get off the call.
Yeah.
But yeah, just how these things just shift so quickly, how teams go from here to there. Oh, I remember what it was. Is narratives don't change based on the context of the season. And what I mean by that is this is a super duper tight season where 2 wins and you jump. They use the same template of your place, regardless of the point difference. Right? Yeah. No, you're 10th, but we have 44 points. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, no, Tottenham were first at the start of the week, and now they're 6th. It's 2 games. Like, they're right there. The last 2 seasons, the league they had 22-point leads. I mean, we were talking about Liverpool setting the record for points when City were Centurions. United had 81 points. Right? What are you talking about? Or what's the other narrative? The best narrative was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a good season, saved their season last season, but had a bad season the season before. And this, you may not like Craig Burley, but he was just going bananas. He's like, they have 66 points. They had 66 points the year before. They finished a top 4 this year, and they didn't last year. They still have 66 points. They're not better. The league was worse, right? Like, it's all – and, like, last season top 4 was awful. Like, I think –
the last few years –
the
last few years, it's been a race to see who didn't want to get it. I remember 2 years ago, Spurs magically found their way into 4th by accident because Chelsea and Arsenal didn't want it.
66 points put you in the top 4.
Yeah.
66. That was last
Spurs
season.
might have had 71 2 years ago.
Exactly. 71 is respectable.
Yeah.
66 that season would have put you in 7th. What are we talking about? Like, I think this season will be like that again, right? Like, it'll be weird. We'll really, when we get to the 19th game, we'll really have that, like, balancing point of us. Like, okay, we're at the halfway point. What the fuck is going on?
Right, exactly. And so we're 14 games in. Imagine if, and I know that it's not the same, but even, you know what? I won't even use Major League Baseball. I'll use the NFL as an example, right? Because I think that's a better parallel.
Yeah.
In whatever division you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, in whatever division you want. You're 2 games back. You're the Giants. You're 2 games back of the Cowboys. But it's week 7. You get to play the Cowboys one more time.
You're fine.
You're not fine, but you're not lighting your house on fire. You're just like, fuck, we got to play better. We got to do things a little bit differently. But you know what? We're close. We're doing a lot of things well.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a couple of problems. We got to do this better. In Tottenham's case in the last week, shit, Bergwijn, you got to finish that at Anfield. Harry Kane didn't have a good game on Sunday.
No.
That's a collector's item. You know what? He's allowed to do that because he's been carrying the fucking team the whole 5 years.
Yeah.
He didn't have a good one.
You know, it's funny. I'm just looking at that sort of thing. Like, City this year, we had 9 losses last year, had a goal differential of a team that should have had won the league. This year we only have 2 losses. The problem is we lead the league in draws. City lead the league in draws. Actually, Brighton have 6 and City have 5. But it's that kind of thing. Like, how do you kick on? You had Arsenal had lots of draws last year. You thought they'd kick on. The question is, can City kick on and get in the second half, turn the draws into wins?
Well, I think that hold on. The fallacy there is that there's an expectation that a lot of close games are all going to go your way.
Yes,
right?
That it's not 50-50 going.
Right, that's exactly what a fucking draw is most of the time, right? I mean, not always, right? But
but you'd expect City with the talent they have to kick on. Right?
Of course. But if a couple of those, you drew Burnley, let's say, right?
Well, no, we did worse. We drew West Brom.
Okay, fine, great example. You had 80% possession. That's a game you should win.
Right. But only like 3 shots on goal. That's the problem.
Yeah, but sure. But the point is that, you know what? You had a bunch of possession with Spurs too, but 2 went in the other way with only two chances. I'm not getting into the analytical point of it.
No, I know. I mean, all I think about is the beginning of last season, the 30-shot game with the Laporte handball on the ground. That was the worst. Yeah. That was indicative of the whole fucking season. That's exactly our season in a nutshell.
So and I think the best teams and the teams with the biggest expectations look at that and they go, well, that's a room for improvement, right? That's an area that we can go from, 6 draws, you get 4 wins, it's 8 more points.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah,
right.
But City don't. But City don't have that right now. Yeah, you create it in your head.
Exactly. You doctor the table, right? You go, I should just, we were 7 points back if we would have tied these 3 games.
But that's why XG is so valuable, right? Like it really helps you sort of see not what it's not expected goals. It's really the quality of your performances.
And the best, it's the creation of chances.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So for
who
City,
has created the most chances, and I think that's the best indication most times.
Here's the thing: City are leading the league by a lot in XG against.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
We're at 12.1. The next team is Chelsea at 12.8. Mm-hmm. So that means that says to me we're completely changed the way we play. We're just not like it used to be the other way around. We wouldn't give up anything.
Sure.
And now Liverpool's number 1 in XG by a lot. They're 4 goals better than. You want to guess who's second in XG against 4?
Spurs.
Leeds, baby.
Oh, XG again. Oh, yeah.
XG 4, right? Like they're 4. Like here it is in XG to score. It's Liverpool, Leeds, United, Chelsea, and Leicester. One of those teams shouldn't be there, right? So basically, it says. Get rid of fucking Patrick Bamford, please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
But I think they're last in XG against, and yes, they are. So
of course they are.
They're amazing. So they're in the top in both, which means that they have their games have an expected goal value of 52 so far.
That's. Grab some popcorn whenever Leeds are on
TV. In 14 games, there have been 52 expected goals for Leeds.
That's over 4 goals per game.
Yeah, that's insane. That's so great.
Goodness.
I love them. They cannot bring me any more joy. Anyway, all right. I'm going to leave it on joy and masturbation and City. Get the Cialis, not the fucking Viagra. Viagra? Sí, ¿cómo no? Viagra, con mi esposa. Okay. That was the Squeaky Bum Time podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. This was a Crap Football, Crap Pundit production. We will return on Mondays and Thursdays for the Premier League season. We will talk about soccer and other things that interest us. Mike is crazy. Laurent is insane. That's why it works.